Before today's video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest videos. If you want to see a case or topic covered by Paranormally Listed, then go to criminallylisted.com and fill out the questionnaire under the Suggest a Case tab. Number 3. The SS Leafield. The SS Leafield was a steel-hulled Canadian steamer that was 262 feet long, and it was built in 1912 in Toronto, Ontario. She was a workhorse of the Great Lakes, designed to haul heavy bulk cargo. By 1913, she had already proven her durability on Lake Superior's unpredictable waters. For much of her career, she transported grain, coal, and manufactured goods between Canada and U.S. ports. In the fall of 1913, she was engaged in a project far from her usual cargo runs. She was hauling construction supplies and equipment to Port Arthur, now part of Thunder Bay, Ontario, to aid in building breakwaters and piers. On the morning of November 9, 1913, the Leafield set out from Port Arthur with her barge, the Benjamin Noble, lashed alongside. The goal was to return to her home before the worsening weather made the lake impassable. Lake Superior was already restless that November, but as the Leafield steamed eastward, the weather turned violent. The notorious Great Lakes storm of 1913, also called the White Hurricane, was sweeping across the region. Winds over 70 miles per hour tore at the ships, and blinding snow made navigation nearly impossible. Somewhere between the Angus Rocks and the Porphyry Point Lighthouse, the Leafield and her barge were seen by a lighthouse keeper fighting the waves. That was the last confirmed sighting of the vessel. When the storm cleared days later, some parts of the boat began washing ashore. Broken timbers, twisted metal, and lifebelts imprinted with Leafield. Bodies of several crew members were recovered on nearby shores, but the ship itself had vanished beneath the lake. In total, 18 crew members and one passenger perished. Among them were Captain John H. Jackson and his wife, who had joined the voyage. For decades, the exact resting place of the SS Leafield remained unknown. Unlike some Great Lake wrecks that lie in shallower, clear water, the Leafield supposedly sank in one of Superior's deepest and most remote areas. The area's underwater currents and cold darkness make exploration difficult. Theories emerged about how the ship disappeared. Some claim the Leafield struck Angus Rocks in the blizzard, tearing her hull. Others believe she foundered in open water when a wave snapped the tow lines and overwhelmed her. Still others suggest she may have broken apart mid-leg, with the largest sections never resurfacing. Today, the SS Leafield is remembered as one of the most haunting losses of the Great Lakes. The wreck has never been located, even though shipwreck hunters occasionally mount expeditions in hoping of finding her. Somewhere in the deep, cold silence of Lake Superior, she still lies. Number 2. The SS James Carruthers. The SS James Carruthers was a steel-hulled Great Lake freighter built in 1913 at the Collingwood Shipbuilding Company in Collingwood, Ontario. Commissioned by the St. Lawrence and Chicago Steam Navigation Company of Toronto, she was named after a Canadian lumber and grain magnate. Spanning 550 feet long, 58-foot beam, and 27-foot depth, with a gross tonnage of 7,862, she was one of the largest lake freighters of her time. Her powerful triple-expansion steam engine and modern design made her a pride of the fleet. On November 6, 1913, the James Carruthers loaded 370,000 bushels of wheat at Fort William, which is now part of Thunder Bay, Ontario, and they were bound for Midland, Ontario, on the Georgian Bay. The trip was the ship's first voyage with cargo into the Great Lakes. The Carruthers was so new that when she left on her voyage, painted parts of the crew quarters was reportedly still tacky. Her master, Captain William H. Wright, was an experienced mariner who had guided ships through many storms. the vessel departed into early signs of worsening weather. On November 6, the Great Lakes were in the grip of the infamous storm of 1913. The White Hurricane was about to claim another victim. The storm had a massive system that unleashed hurricane-force winds, freezing spray, and snow squalls across all 5 Great Lakes. After leaving the St. Mary's River, the Caruthers and another freighter, the J.H. Schindel, steamed into northern Lake Huron. The Schindel eventually turned back, but the Caruthers pressed on, aiming south along the lake's eastern shore. The last confirmed sighting of the James Caruthers was in the early morning of November 9, 1913, heading down Lake Huron. Sometime that day she vanished without sending a wireless distress call. When the storm subsided on November 10th, grim evidence of her fate began to appear. Wreckage, lifeboats, hatch covers, and timbers washed ashore between Kincardine and Goderich, Ontario. These locations were far south of her intended route into Georgian Bay. Bodies of crew members, including Captain Wright, were found near Point Clark. Many were wearing life jackets and heavy coats, suggesting the crew had a warning of disaster, but no chance of rescue. Residents near Inver, Huron reported hearing distress rockets and steamer whistles on the night of November 9th, possibly the Caruthers trying to signal for help in the blizzard. Despite her size and new construction, the Caruthers could not withstand the storm's combined force of massive seas, wind gusts over 70 miles per hour, and blinding snow. Many theories emerged of what they think happened to the doomed ship. Some believe Corsair into open lake after attempting to round the Bruce Peninsula. Others think because the ship was so new that it suffered structural failure from the heavy storm and waves. Also, some believe cargo shift from steel rails and wheat in rough condition caused the ship to sink. Along with the SS Leafield, the Caruthers was more than one of the dozen ships claimed by the Great Storm of 1913, an event that remains one of the most catastrophic maritime disaster in the region's recorded history, with over 250 lives lost and 19 ships destroyed. The wreck of the SS James Caruthers has never been found, making her one of the most enduring unsolved mysteries of the Great Lake. Update. While this video was in production, the SS James Caruthers was found 190 feet below the surface of Lake Huron. On May 26, 2025, shipwrecker David Cotner and his team were mapping sections of Lake Huron when they discovered a vessel at the bottom of the lake's floor. They sent down cameras and read the name of the ship, confirming it was the Caruthers. The ship was upside down about 20 miles southwest of Harbor Beach. On July 27, 2025, 8 divers on Trotter's team went down to photograph the ship for the first time in over a century. A few items such as navigation light and smokestack from the stern have been broken off and lay near the wreck. Trotter and his team made the announcement that they discovered the SS James Caruthers on August 24, 2025. At the time of this recording, it's still unknown why the ship sank. Number 1. The SS Bannockburn. At the turn of the 20th century, the Great Lakes were the busiest freshwater shipping lanes in the world. The region's booming industries, especially steel, lumber, coal, and grain, relied heavily on fleets of steam-powered freighters like the Bannockburn to transport raw materials efficiently between ports. Ships had technologically advanced by 1902. Many ships were built from steel rather than wood, with powerful steam engines that allowed larger cargoes and faster trips. However, with ships becoming more advanced, wireless telegraph was still in its infancy on the Great Lakes. Most ships could not send distress signals quickly or reliably. If trouble struck suddenly, crews often had no way to call for help. The SS Bannockburn was a Canadian steel-hulled freighter built in 1902 by the Collingwood Shipbuilding Company in Ontario. At about 422 feet long and 50 feet wide, she was typical of the steel bulk freighters that moved vast amounts of cargo across the Great Lakes in the early 20th century. Her main cargo was grain, lumber, and coal, essentially materials fueling North America's growing industries. In November 1902, the Bannockburn was loaded with wheat and departed Port Arthur, Ontario, bound for Midland, Ontario. The ship was commanded by Captain George Thorpe, an experienced mariner. The weather on Lake Superior was notoriously unpredictable and harsh during the late fall, and this journey would become one of the lake's most enduring mysteries. Without modern radar or GPS, ships relied on charts, compasses, and lighthouses, which could be obscured by snow or fog during storms. The SS Algonquin, another steamer on Lake Superior that day, was one of the last vessels to report seeing the Bannockburn. Captain Alexander MacArthur of the Algonquin reported spotting the Bannockburn near Whitefish Point during a snow squall on the afternoon of November 21, 1902. He noted that the Bannockburn was struggling against heavy snow and gusting winds, but appeared seaworthy. The two ships briefly exchanged whistle signals before the Bannockburn vanished into the storm. Captain MacArthur described the weather as, quote, "the worst snow squall I've ever seen on the lake," unquote. A little while later, the Bannockburn passed Whitefish Point, Michigan, under severe weather conditions with heavy snow and high winds in effect. The lighthouse keeper stationed at Whitefish Point, Michigan, reported hearing the whistle of a large steamer late in the evening on November 21st. Given the timing and direction, it is widely believed that this was the Bannockburn signaling as it attempted to navigate the hazardous waters near the point during the storm. The keeper described the whistle as low and intermittent, lost amid the howling winds and crashing waves. There were no visual sightings due to the blizzard conditions, but the sound was distinct enough to be noted in the log. After that, she was never seen again. Despite extensive searches, no wreckage was found. The ship simply disappeared without sending a distress call, and none of the 22 crew members aboard survived or were ever recovered. The Bannockburn quickly gained a reputation as the Flying Dutchman of the Great Lakes due to reported sightings of a ghostly ship matching her description in the years following her disappearance. Witnesses claimed to see a large steamer with a red smokestack sailing silently through the fog or heavy weather on Lake Superior, only to vanish without a trace. One captain reported a sudden apparition of a ship sailing silently on a foggy night near Whitefish Point, which vanished as he approached. Another sailor claimed to see the spectral ship near Isle Royale during a heavy snowstorm, only to have it disappear behind a wave. These accounts contribute to Bannockburn's legend as the Flying Dutchman of the Great Lakes. These sightings fuel local legends and ghost stories about the ship doomed to sail the lake forever, a ghostly reminder of the dangers of Great Lake navigation. The exact cause of the Bannockburn's loss remains unknown. The harsh weather of Lake Superior in November likely played a major role, with heavy snow squalls and sudden storms causing visibility and navigation problems. Some theories suggest the ship may have struck a reef or suffered a catastrophic structural fail in the storm's heavy seas. Incidents like the Bannockburn's loss eventually pushed for improvements in ship design, safety protocols, and wireless communication, though significant advances took decades. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. If you did find it interesting, please make sure you subscribe. We'll have a new video about the paranormal every week. If you just discovered this channel, please make sure you check out our other channel, Criminally Listed. We have over 325 videos featuring bizarre but true crime stories. You can find it at youtube.com/criminallylisted. Well, that's all for today. Thanks again for watching.